Yeah, I think obviously Paris Campbell's going to be one. He's a vet, came in the 2014 class. I think you could see 3 different wide receivers as captains, which is pretty impressive with Johnny Dixon and Campbell and Terry McLaurin. I think it's important that the Buckeyes have a leader on the offensive line. That's where Isaiah Prince, after an incredibly difficult year in 2016, really stepped up a year ago, and now he's back and leading the new offensive line group. Draymond Jones, obviously taking over on the defensive line with Sloss Sam Hubbard and Tyquan Lewis and the entire defensive side of the ball, which is being changed over. So I think it's really important the Buckeyes. I don't think they're going to have 9 captains like they did last year, but I think you should expect to see 6 or 7 again, and that just speaks to what they've built at Ohio State in the last handful of years, because you do lose a guy like J.T. Barrett and Billy Price, and instantly you have somebody else to take you over for them. And I think it's important for Ohio State to see what type of leader Dwayne Haskins turns into, and that's, I guess, when I talk questions for Ohio State and what's coming at Big Ten Media Day, that's obviously going to be number 1 on people's mind.
And I think when you look at the changes for the Ohio State team this year, I don't know if it's necessarily fair to say there's a question mark at quarterback, because it's now been answered. It's Dwayne Haskins. It's more of an unknown at quarterback with Dwayne Haskins.
Certainly, Dwayne is going to be the guy at Ohio State, and I think that people are going to go into this season expecting him to be the Dwayne Haskins that finished the game at Michigan a year ago, and I don't know how realistic that is.
Do you think we're going to see more of the Dwayne Haskins we saw against Michigan, or the Dwayne Haskins we saw against Illinois the week before, where he got yanked and they put J.T. Barrett back in that game?
Well, I think this is one of those moments where you wonder if Dwayne is a player that thrives on the pressure and isn't necessarily geared for that complacency to just turn it on whenever he wants. I think he's a player that needs that high-intensity game situation, and I think you'll see him at his best early in the season when he's really backed up against it. And for me, I think that's important for Ohio State, especially with TCU in week 3. That's going to be the first time that they're going to really have an opportunity to see what they have with Dwayne Haskins. And there's obviously going to be a long leash for him, because they don't want to risk upsetting that confidence that he has right now. But when it comes down to it, you have Tate Martell, who is the National Player of the Year, according to everybody, in 2017 on the recruiting trail. And he's a player that runs the offense very similar to how J.T. Barrett did and how you think Joe Burrow would have. And I think that there's always going to be that chirping and saying, well, did Ohio State make the right choice every single time Haskins struggles? So it's important for him to come out of the gate really strong.